Chapter 1. Stop touching. Start feeling. Most people think they know how to feel. They don't. They touch all day long. The glass of their phone, the keyboard, the steering wheel. Yet they've gone completely numb. Touch has become mechanical, automatic, unconscious. But here's the truth. Touch without awareness is not feeling. It's just friction. Feeling requires presence. It requires attention. It's not about contact. It's about consciousness. It's not about touching everything. It's about feeling something deeply. The first step to reclaiming your power through touch is to slow down. Your body is speaking in textures, temperatures, and pressures, but you've stopped listening. You're scrolling while eating. You're typing while thinking. You're doing everything at once, and you wonder why you feel nothing. Let's call this what it is: sensory blindness. You can't see with your eyes closed, and you can't feel with your awareness turned off. Neuroscientists estimate that your skin holds more than 4 million sensory receptors. They are constantly sending information to your brain, not just about pain or pleasure, but about the environment, safety, and emotion. Yet most of that data is ignored. You've trained yourself to filter it out, to live in your head. That's your flaw. And here's your discipline: to train your hands to wake up again. Close your eyes right now. Touch the surface nearest you. Maybe a table, your armrest, your clothes. Now describe it. Really describe it. Is it smooth or coarse? Warm or cool? Light or heavy? Do you feel the air against your skin? The pulse under your wrist? You've just taken your first conscious contact in days. This is what real feeling begins with: deliberate noticing. It's not meditation. It's not philosophy. It's training. Every time you pause to feel, you reconnect your nervous system to the present moment. You build a link between your body and your mind. And that link, that single bridge, is what makes you alive. You see, when you stop feeling, you start drifting. You drift through conversations, meals, relationships, half there, half gone. You lose grip on what's real because you've lost grip on sensation itself. So I'm giving you the first tool, a daily discipline called the 30-second texture pause. Here's how it works. Once every few hours, stop whatever you're doing. Touch the nearest object, your desk, your phone, your coffee cup. For 30 seconds, focus only on its texture. Feel the surface. Trace the edges. Notice its temperature. Then, say this quietly to yourself: I feel what others ignore. I awaken through touch. That's your mantra. Repeat it until it burns into your awareness. Because this isn't about relaxation. This is about recalibration. You're teaching your body that presence isn't optional, it's required. Ancient disciplines knew this long before modern science caught up. Buddhist monks practiced mindful eating not to savor flavor, but to awaken contact. Samurai warriors trained barefoot on sand to sharpen perception and balance. Even artists like Michelangelo said, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. But before he saw, he felt. He ran his hands over stone until the shape revealed itself. Feeling is intelligence. Feeling is mastery. Because when you can feel the smallest details, you can control the biggest outcomes. You can't craft excellence with numb hands. You can't build precision with dulled nerves. And you can't live deeply when your body is half asleep. Now let's go deeper. Feeling is also a mirror. How you touch the world is how you experience it. Rushed, rough, distracted touch creates disconnection. Deliberate, calm, curious touch creates connection. If your relationships feel distant, check your touch. If your creativity feels blocked, check your touch. If your stress feels endless, check your touch. Your body remembers every contact, every handshake, every brush, every grasp. Touch shapes your psychology. It determines how safe you feel, how loved you feel, how human you feel. You've been conditioned to believe touch is physical, but it's emotional first. That's why newborns deprived of physical contact fail to thrive, even when they are fed. It's why a gentle touch can dissolve anger faster than any argument. It's why trauma often shows up as numbness, the nervous system shutting down to protect you. So when you wake your touch, you don't just improve awareness, you heal it. You reopen a channel that's been closed by distraction, noise, and speed. This is not a soft practice. It's a powerful one. It takes courage to slow down enough to feel what's really there, the tension, the texture, the truth. When you touch the world consciously, you meet reality head-on. You feel your own life pulsing beneath your fingers. And that's the real point of this chapter. It's not about touch. It's about awareness. It's not about skin. It's about connection. It's not about physical sensation. It's about mental activation. Every time you choose to feel instead of rush, you train the muscle of mindfulness, focus, and emotional intelligence. Let's make this concrete. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't grab your phone. Grab the edge of your bedsheet. Feel its texture, its softness, its coolness, its folds. When you shower, feel the water. Not just the temperature, but the pressure, the rhythm, the contact. When you hold your cup of coffee, notice the heat through the ceramic, the smell rising, the pulse in your fingers. This is the discipline of presence. And the repetition matters. Each deliberate contact builds a habit of awareness. And awareness, repeated often enough, becomes mastery. You'll start to feel details that others miss. You'll sense tension in someone's handshake. You'll pick up on subtle energy shifts in rooms. You'll respond more intelligently because you're more alive. That's the power of trained touch. So remember this. You're not here to touch everything. You're here to feel something deeply. Because when you feel fully, you live fully. The world doesn't need more busy hands. It needs more aware ones. You can't control the chaos around you, but you can control how deeply you connect to it. That's how strength is built, through sensory discipline. So repeat it again. I feel what others ignore. I awaken through touch. Let that become your compass. Let that phrase burn through the noise and numbness of your day. Because the moment you start feeling, you stop drifting. And the moment you stop drifting, you start living. You mastered awareness through touch. Now, it's time to understand how your skin, this living organ of perception, is not just a surface, but a brain of its own. In the next chapter, we dive into that truth. Chapter 2. Your skin is a brain. Most people believe their brain sits only inside their skull. Wrong. Your skin thinks. It processes, interprets, and responds long before your conscious mind even notices. Every pore, every nerve ending, every hair follicle, it's a data receiver. You don't just live in your skin. You think through it. Touch isn't secondary. It's primal. Before you ever saw or heard the world, you felt it. In the womb, your sense of touch was the first to activate, before sight, sound, or smell. Neuroscientist David Linden said in Touch, the science of hand, heart, and mind. Touch is not just a sense. It's a foundation of our perception and emotion. Your skin constantly sends millions of messages to your brain. Messages that shape your mood, your focus, your decisions. But here's the brutal truth. You've stopped listening. You treat your skin like a wall, when it's actually a radar. You cover it, ignore it, desensitize it, and then wonder why you feel disconnected. Let's make this real. Imagine walking barefoot on grass. Instantly, your feet begin scanning. Softness, dampness, warmth, pressure. Before your mind forms a single thought, your skin has already told your nervous system, safe, stable, alive. That's intelligence. That's your body thinking for you. Now, contrast that with walking on pavement all day, trapped in shoes, sealed from sensation. No variation, no texture, no feedback. Your body stops sending information. You stop feeling, and you start drifting through life half-conscious. This is how modern living kills awareness, one layer of sensory armor at a time. Your skin is your first interface with the world. It's your first protection, your first teacher, your first truth teller. When you ignore it, you silence one of your most ancient forms of intelligence. Think of it like this. If your brain is the CEO, your skin is the field operative, constantly collecting data, reading signals, and delivering reports. When that connection weakens, you lose accuracy. You make slower decisions. You react instead of responding. In combat training, elite soldiers are taught tactile situational awareness. They learn to sense the air shift before a threat appears, to feel the vibration of terrain before footsteps are audible. Their skin becomes their radar. You don't need a battlefield for that level of awareness. Your battlefield is your day. And your armor isn't numbness, it's presence. Here's your exercise. The skin listening practice. Once a day, take 3 minutes to focus solely on your skin. Sit still. Close your eyes. Notice every point of contact, your clothes, your chair, the air brushing against your arms. Where is it warm? Where is it cool? Where is there pressure? Don't judge it. Just register it. This trains your nervous system to decode sensory input in real time. You'll start to feel microsignals, a draft in the room, the pull of gravity, your own heartbeat. Those are not background noises. They are feedback loops. And the better you listen, the better you live. Say this phrase at the end of each session. My skin is my intelligence. I listen with every cell. Repeat it. Anchor it. Make it your reminder that you don't need to overthink. You need to overfeel. Let's bring in the science. Researchers at the University of Hertfordshire discovered that touch directly alters the brain's emotional state, releasing oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine through mechanoreceptor activity. Translation: your skin doesn't just sense the world. It chemically changes your brain in response to what it feels. So when you say, "That place gives me bad vibes," that's not imagination. That's your skin reading environmental data and delivering emotional truth. The body knows before the mind admits. It's not about intuition versus logic. It's about remembering that your skin is your subconscious intelligence in motion. When you're calm, your skin feels open, relaxed, receptive. When you're anxious, it tightens, prickles, withdraws. You can feel it: tension, goosebumps, warmth, cold flushes. Every emotional state has a physical signal. Ignore those signals long enough, and your decisions will always lag behind your body's truth. You can't build intuition by thinking harder. You build it by feeling earlier. Let's make this practical. Every time you shake someone's hand, feel the temperature, the grip, the hesitation. Every time you touch a surface, notice how it grounds you or irritates you. Every time you hug someone, register your own breathing, their heartbeat, the moment of exchange. You're collecting data, emotional data, through skin. The more you train that sense, the more fluent you become in the unspoken language of energy. But remember, this isn't about chasing comfort. Your skin learns through contrast, heat and cold, soft and sharp, smooth and rough. That's how your nervous system stays adaptive. If you live in constant comfort, perfect room temperature, soft clothes, predictable textures, you dull your sensory intelligence. You become fragile. You become less capable of handling reality. Discomfort is data. When you expose your skin to variety, wind, cold, water, pressure, you're not punishing yourself. You're training your perception. It's not about seeking pain. It's about expanding tolerance. Because when your skin becomes resilient, your mind follows. You want to increase focus? Get out of your head and into your hands. You want to reduce anxiety? Stop looping thoughts and start feeling the air on your skin. Your brain can't stay anxious and fully present in touch at the same time. The circuits don't overlap. That's why grounding techniques work. That's why therapists say, feel your feet. You're literally rerouting power, from the mind's noise into the body's intelligence. This is what separates those who drift from those who dominate their awareness. The undisciplined man lives trapped in thought. The awakened man lives alive through sensation. It's not about feeling more emotion. It's about feeling more information. When you train your touch, you train perception. When you train perception, you train decision-making. And when you train decision-making, you train leadership. Everything begins with awareness. And awareness begins with skin. So, your skin isn't decoration. It's communication. It's not your boundary. It's your antenna. It's the bridge between your inner and outer world. You've spent your life living from the neck up. It's time to reconnect the rest. Say it again. My skin is my intelligence. I listen with every cell. Let it burn in your memory. Let it become your default state. Because once you start listening through your skin, you'll realize something profound. You've never really touched life before now. You've learned to listen with your skin. Next, we'll explore the invisible truth behind why certain textures calm you, excite you, or even repel you. It's not random. It's emotional coding in motion. Chapter 3. Emotion lives in the skin. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. Every emotion, fear, love, rage, peace, starts as a signal under your skin. Before you think it, you feel it. The body speaks before the brain catches up. And if you ignore that truth, you'll live your life reacting to invisible forces you can't even name. This is not philosophy. It's physiology. The psychiatrist Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, wrote, "The body keeps the score. It stores trauma, pain, and joy. It tells the truth even when the mind cannot. That means every handshake, every hug, every touch you've ever received, good or bad, has left a trace. Your nervous system has been quietly collecting a lifetime of sensory data, shaping how safe or unsafe you feel in the world. Emotion lives in the skin, the body's language. Let's start simple. Think about what happens when you get nervous. Your palms sweat. Your heartbeat accelerates. Your stomach tightens. You don't choose those reactions. Your body chooses them. That's emotion being born in real time. You feel first. You rationalize later. Neuroscience confirms this. When something triggers you, a noise, a tone, a face, the amygdala fires before your prefrontal cortex even knows what's happening. Emotion precedes logic. Your skin, muscles, and heartbeat start broadcasting signals of either safety or threat within milliseconds. That's why no matter how logical you think you are, you can't think your way out of a body that feels unsafe. You can't talk yourself out of a panic attack. You have to retrain your nervous system, not just your mind. Your body is the foundation of emotional intelligence. You cannot master your emotions if you haven't mastered your state. And your state lives in your skin. Every touch is a message. You were wired for touch long before you learned to speak. The skin is the largest organ of the body, containing over 20 square feet of sensory receptors. When you're held, your body releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. When you're hit, or even rejected, cortisol floods your system. Those signals don't fade easily. That's why a warm hug can calm you faster than any motivational quote. And why an abusive hand can live rent-free in your memory for decades. The truth is, your body becomes your autobiography. Your shoulders carry years of defense. Your breath pattern reveals your past. Your posture tells on your pain. You can fake confidence with words, but your nervous system never lies. That's why when you enter a room, people feel your energy before you speak. It's your body broadcasting your emotional history through tone, micromovements, and tension. The author Gabor Mate once said, "Trauma is not what happens to you. It's what happens inside you as a result of what happens to you." Your skin, your gut, your heartbeat, they record that internal consequence. You may forget the details, but your body does not. The power of comfort and texture. Let's talk about something deceptively simple: comfort objects. Why do children clutch a blanket or stuffed toy? Why do adults wrap themselves in a certain sweater, or sleep better with a weighted blanket? It's not nostalgia, it's regulation. Texture grounds the nervous system. Touch brings the body back to safety. In moments of anxiety, the brain searches for something predictable. Softness, warmth, familiar textures, they signal safe. It's biology, not weakness. A 2013 study published in Psychological Science found that physical warmth increases feelings of social warmth and trust. Participants who held a warm cup of coffee rated others as more generous and caring compared to those who held an iced drink. That's not metaphor. That's the skin changing the mind. So when you choose your environment, the fabrics you wear, the bed you sleep in, the lighting you live under, you're programming your emotional state. Don't underestimate it. Your body is constantly listening to the physical world around it. If you live in chaos, you'll feel chaos. If you surround yourself with calm textures and grounding touch, your skin tells your brain, "I'm safe." And when you feel safe, your mind opens to growth. Emotional memory in the flesh. Every emotion has a signature in the body. Anger tenses the jaw and fists. Grief collapses the chest. Shame lowers the gaze. Joy expands the lungs. These aren't symbolic gestures. They're physiological states. Over time, they shape your body like emotional weather. You can actually see a lifetime of emotions in someone's posture, expression, and energy. This is why somatic therapy, working through the body, is so powerful. Because talking about trauma isn't enough if the body is still living it. You can't think your way out of something that was felt into you. As Van der Kolk puts it, trauma victims cannot recover until they become familiar with and befriend the sensations in their bodies. The process isn't intellectual, it's physical. It's learning to breathe into tension, to unclench the jaw, to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. That's how emotion is released, not through words, but through presence. The mantra, Every emotion is felt first, not thought first. Repeat it. Burn it in. Every emotion is felt first, not thought first. When you understand that, you stop trying to argue with your feelings. You start listening to them. You become a translator of your own body. If you're anxious, your skin is telling you something. If you're angry, your muscles are broadcasting unmet boundaries. If you're numb, your nervous system has shut down for protection. The key is not to suppress those sensations, it's to decode them. Ask, where in my body do I feel this? What is this sensation trying to protect me from? What action would release this safely? That's the difference between emotional reactivity and emotional mastery. Reactivity fights the signal. Mastery reads it, respects it, and then redirects it. Practical reset, reclaiming the body. Here's how you take this from concept to control. Scan daily. Spend 60 seconds each morning scanning your body from head to toe. Where's the tension? Where's the calm? Awareness is the first reset, ground through touch. When overwhelmed, grab a grounding texture, your own skin, a cool surface, a soft fabric. Feel something real. Let your body know, I'm here, breathe into tightness. Tension is unspoken emotion. Instead of analyzing it, breathe through it. A slow exhale tells the nervous system, safe now, move to process. Emotion stuck in the body needs motion to exit. Walk. Stretch. Punch a pillow. Dance. Emotion that moves becomes energy. Emotion that stays becomes pain. Create physical rituals for calm. Light, scent, sound, touch, all anchor your state. Build small rituals of sensory safety that train your body to return to calm faster. These aren't soft habits. They are warrior habits. Because self-control starts at the skin level. The body never lies. Your skin tells the story of your emotional life. Every scar, every sensation, every shiver of fear or warmth of love, it's all recorded. The question is, are you listening? Because if you don't, your body will start shouting. Through pain, fatigue, anxiety, or numbness. That's your body's way of saying, something needs your attention. The wise don't ignore it. They tune in. They train the body as seriously as they train the mind. Because the skin isn't just a barrier, it's a mirror. A living biography of everything you've ever felt. Master your skin, and you master your state. Master your state, and you master your emotions. And once you master your emotions, you master your life. Chapter 4. Micro touches, macro impact. Success is built on details too small for most people to notice. It's not the big moves that make you exceptional. It's the micro touches. The subtle adjustments. The half-second corrections. The invisible refinements that separate the master from the amateur. Athletes, artists, surgeons, musicians, craftsmen. They all know this truth. The smallest feeling creates the biggest difference. Because the body's sensitivity defines the mind's precision. You can't command what you can't feel. The power of the micro. Watch a world-class archer. The arrow flies in half a second, but the shot is decided long before that. The difference between gold and nothing isn't strength. It's a 1 millimeter shift in grip, a breath held too long, a fingertip releasing at the wrong instant. Tiger Woods once said, I don't hit great shots. I hit tiny adjustments. That's not humility, that's awareness. Mastery doesn't come from doing more. It comes from feeling more, noticing more, refining more. The amateur believes progress means adding effort. The professional knows progress means subtracting noise. Because when you strip away distraction, when you listen deeply to your body, you start to feel the microsignals that guide performance. The subtle feedback of muscle tension, the texture of a grip, the vibration of resistance. Those signals tell you everything. Your ability to perceive small sensations is your ability to make massive outcomes. It's not about effort. It's about sensitivity. It's not about power. It's about precision. It's not about more work. It's about better awareness. How masters use micro-touch. Let's take the example of Roger Federer. His dominance wasn't built on raw strength. It was built on micro-feel. The way his hand reads the ball through the strings, the way his feet whisper against the court, the way his body self-corrects mid-swing. He once said, you have to feel the ball. You can't just hit it. That's the principle. Feel before force. The same goes for artists. Michelangelo didn't see David in the marble. He felt him. He said, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. That's microtouch thinking. Sensing what's hidden, removing what's unnecessary, letting precision guide creation. And look at craftsmen, Japanese sword makers, violin builders, potters. They all train their fingertips as instruments of intelligence. They know texture, pressure, and resistance better than words can describe. When a master potter closes his eyes and molds clay, he's not just shaping an object. He's shaping discipline, patience, and awareness through touch. The pattern is universal. Greatness begins when sensitivity becomes intelligence. The discipline of fine touch. Let's bring this down from the philosophical to the practical, because this chapter is not about admiration, it's about application. The technique is called fine touch training, and it's deceptively simple. Here's how it works. You take 5 minutes a day. You close your eyes, and you train your tactile awareness. You touch different objects, a smooth stone, a rough cloth, a rubber surface, a metal edge. You identify texture, pressure, resistance, and temperature, without sight, without rush, without judgment. What happens? You start to wake up your sensory intelligence. You start to listen to your environment again. You reconnect the feedback loop between your skin and your mind. Why is this important? Because your body is your most advanced data system. And when you train it to feel precisely, you train your mind to think precisely. Fine touch training builds micro-awareness, and micro-awareness is the foundation of mastery. The smallest feeling creates the biggest difference. How micro-sensitivity shapes success. Let's make this real. A pianist who can feel a fraction of a millimeter difference in key resistance plays with emotion that no computer can replicate. A surgeon who can detect a tiny change in tissue tension saves lives with movements invisible to the eye. A pilot who senses vibration before an engine issue prevents disaster. A coder who notices subtle patterns in logic avoids bugs that would crash entire systems. It's all the same principle. Sensitivity before superiority. The brain loves to chase the big win, the big change, the big transformation. But true improvement hides in the micro realm. You refine one small touch, one small angle, one small breath, and the ripple changes everything. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, wrote, "Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations." That's micro-touch philosophy applied to life. Every small refinement compounds into mastery. Every fine adjustment builds exponential results. The world rewards those who pay attention to what others ignore. The trap of insensitivity. Most people numb their senses. They live disconnected from their body. They grip harder instead of adjusting finer. They push more instead of listening deeper. They chase the macro because the micro feels boring. That's why they fail. The undisciplined seek force. The disciplined seek feedback. The lazy drown in noise. The focused tune into signal. You cannot master your work, your relationships, or your life if you're blind to the micro-signals your body sends every day. The tension in your shoulders, the shallow breath before stress, the gut feeling you ignore. Those are touches too, emotional ones. Micro-touch isn't just physical, it's psychological. The person who senses early tension can resolve conflict before it explodes. The leader who feels the emotional texture of a room adjusts tone before chaos begins. The parent who senses a child's microchange in energy knows when something's wrong, even without words. It's not about being psychic. It's about being present. Fine touch equals fine living. If you want mastery, train yourself to notice what most people dismiss. The way the air feels before a storm. The resistance in your muscles before burnout. The texture of silence before an important conversation. Those micro-moments teach awareness. And awareness is the foundation of control. This is what Bruce Lee meant when he said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Repetition refines sensitivity. Sensitivity refines mastery. The greatest in every field, from Federer to Lee, from Yo-Yo Ma to Serena Williams, are obsessed with one thing: feel. They study the micro until it becomes instinct. They eliminate distraction until touch becomes truth. Because when you master micro-touch, you no longer guess, you know. You no longer chase confidence, you embody it. How to train it daily. Here's how you make this real. 5-minute sensory calibration. Close your eyes. Feel the air, the temperature, the surface under your fingers. Identify 3 sensations you usually ignore. Texture challenge: choose 3 objects each day. Describe their texture mentally in exact detail. This builds neural sensitivity, the mind-body awareness loop. Pressure control when writing, holding, or typing. Reduce force until your muscles stay relaxed. Precision comes from relaxed control, not tension. Resistance training. Without weights, push lightly against a wall or object. Notice where your effort begins and where it breaks. That line is your awareness threshold. Expand it gradually. Micro-meditation between tasks. Pause and ask, what am I feeling right now, physically? Reconnect your consciousness to your skin. Chapter 5. Nature's Tactile Classroom. You've been trained to touch glass, not life. Your fingertips know the smoothness of a screen but not the roughness of bark, the grain of stone, or the pulse of water. And that's why you're numb. You scroll, you type, you tap, but you don't feel. Your nervous system is starving for real input. It's not about escaping technology. It's about reclaiming sensitivity. Because nature isn't just a place to visit. It's your original teacher, the most advanced tactile classroom on Earth. Why nature resets sensitivity? When you walk into a forest, step onto sand, or place your hands in running water, your nervous system begins to recalibrate. Why? Because natural textures are unpredictable, organic, and alive. They constantly challenge your sensory awareness in ways no synthetic surface can. Concrete and plastic create monotony, smooth, flat, sterile. Nature creates contrast, rough, soft, cool, warm, sharp, flowing. Each sensation sends new signals through your nervous system. Each signal builds your ability to feel again. Richard Louv, in his book Last Child in the Woods, called this the nature deficit disorder. He wrote, "The more high-tech our lives become, the more nature we need." That's not a poetic line, it's biological truth. Your body was designed to read the earth, not algorithms. And when you return to nature, your sensory intelligence, the foundation of emotional regulation and creativity, comes back online. The science of Reconnect Ion. In 2010, Japanese researchers introduced the term Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. Their studies found that spending just 15 minutes surrounded by trees lowered cortisol, reduced heart rate, and activated the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and repair mode. But here's the key. It's not the view that heals you. It's the contact. The air on your skin. The dirt under your nails. The bark against your palm. That's the tactile classroom of nature. It teaches through touch. When your skin touches natural textures, millions of nerve endings send messages of safety and complexity to the brain. This resets overstimulated neural circuits built from endless artificial input. Screens, noise, speed, sameness. In nature, you process a slower, richer language, a conversation between your skin and the earth. That's how you restore sensitivity. That's how you rebuild your baseline. The cost of synthetic living. Modern life teaches you to live through glass. Your senses are dulled by convenience, climate control, processed texture, synthetic lighting. You've been domesticated by design. But when you lose contact with natural texture, you lose calibration. Your nervous system forgets what normal feels like. You mistake stimulation for sensation. You scroll more because you can't feel enough. You seek dopamine because you've lost access to depth. You can't meditate your way out of this if you never touch the real world. Because your body doesn't heal through thought. It heals through contact. The cure isn't silence, it's sensation. The solution isn't withdrawal, it's Reconnect Ion. You need to put your hands back in the soil of life. The 10-minute touch walk. Here's the exercise. The 10-minute touch walk. Simple. Grounded. Transformative. Leave your phone. No music, no podcast, no distraction. Just you and your hands. Step outside, into your backyard, a park, a beach, a patch of earth. Spend 10 minutes engaging your sense of touch with the natural world. Here's how to do it. Start with stillness. Stand still. Close your eyes. Feel the air, the temperature, the breeze. Let your skin record the data. Touch the earth. Pick up a stone. Feel its texture, weight, and temperature. Let your fingers trace its imperfections. That's not a rock. That's a sensory map. Millions of years of information under your skin. Touch the living. Run your hand along tree bark. Touch leaves, grass, petals. Notice the difference between dry and damp, smooth and rough. You're not just feeling texture, you're syncing with organic rhythm. Touch water. If you can, find a stream, a puddle, or the ocean. Let the water run over your fingers. Feel the temperature shift, the flow, the resistance. That's energy in motion, literal feedback from nature's nervous system. Touch your breath. Finish by placing your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Your body is also nature, living, pulsing, electric. This is not a ritual. It's a reset. You're reprogramming your nervous system for presence. You're teaching your body what real life feels like again. Repeat it daily. Not for discipline's sake, but because your sensitivity is your strength. Why this works? Every touch tells your brain, I am here. I am alive. That's what nature reminds you of. When you touch bark, your nervous system detects microvariations in texture. Your brain lights up in areas responsible for focus, calm, and creativity. When you walk barefoot on sand, your body subtly shifts posture, activating stabilizing muscles that sit dormant in shoes. When you feel running water, your touch receptors synchronize with rhythm and flow, a literal recalibration of balance and timing. That's the science of it. But the meaning runs deeper, because every contact with nature humbles you. It reminds you that you're not separate from the world, you're made of it. And when you reconnect physically, you reconnect psychologically. You stop chasing control and start feeling alignment. You stop thinking survival and start sensing belonging. The mantra, I feel nature. Nature reprograms me. Say it, don't just read it. I feel nature. Nature reprograms me. Because it does. Every time you step outside, barefoot or by-handed, you allow the environment to rewrite your system. It takes you out of the artificial world of stimulation and puts you back into the sensory world of connection. Nature reprograms you through contrast. You can't feel grounded if you're never grounded. You can't feel balance if your feet never touch the earth. You can't feel alive if everything you touch is plastic and pixels. Stop numbing your fingertips. Reclaim your body's dialogue with the earth. You want to master your emotions? Start by mastering your senses. Because the body can't lie to the forest. It can only synchronize with it. Nature as the original mentor. Great minds have always known this. Henry David Thoreau said, Heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. John Muir wrote, In every walk with nature one receives far more than he seeks. They weren't speaking metaphorically. They were describing neurological truth. You receive because nature feeds your nervous system the data it needs to operate at full sensitivity. The touch of wind, the resistance of earth, the flow of water, the pulse of sunlight. That's the classroom. That's the lesson. You just have to show up and feel it. The discipline of sensation. You don't go to nature for comfort. You go for recalibration. Because nature doesn't flatter you, it refines you. Cold water shocks the nerves. Rough bark tests your skin. Uneven ground strengthens your balance. That discomfort is your nervous system stretching, learning again what sensitivity feels like. It's not about comfort. It's about connection. It's not about retreat. It's about reset. It's not about running from the modern world. It's about remembering how to feel in it. You don't need a silent retreat. You need a 10-minute walk that reminds your body what life feels like. You need to touch something real again. Chapter 6. Touch as communication. Before you ever spoke a word, you spoke through touch. That's how every human being begins life, not with language, but with contact. You were held, cradled, soothed, and protected, or you weren't. And that early story of touch became your first emotional language. We like to believe words are our main form of communication. They are not. Your body speaks louder. Your skin speaks first. Every handshake, every hug, every brush of contact, it all sends a signal before your mouth ever opens. Touch is communication, and if you don't learn to control it, it will control how people feel you. The skin speaks before the voice. Touch bypasses the intellect. It moves straight into the nervous system. It conveys emotion faster and deeper than speech ever can. In a 2009 study at UC Berkeley, psychologist Dacha Keltner demonstrated that humans could identify distinct emotions, love, gratitude, anger, fear, compassion, through touch alone, with no facial expressions or words. That's the power of this invisible language. You can literally transmit emotion through your skin. You shake someone's hand, and they instantly decide if they can trust you. You place a hand on someone's shoulder, and they know if you're grounding them or dominating them. You hug someone, and they feel whether you mean it or you're performing it. Your touch is your truth. It tells the story of your intent, your control, and your discipline. So let's be clear, it's not about touch itself. It's about the awareness behind it. It's not about warmth. It's about calibration. It's not about being expressive. It's about being intentional. Every touch tells a story. A confident handshake communicates self-respect. A gentle touch signals empathy. An invasive one triggers alarm. These differences are measured not by strength, but by sensitivity, by your ability to read the other person's nervous system and adjust. When you shake hands too hard, you're overcompensating. When you limp through it, you're undercommunicating. But when your handshake is firm, aligned, present, it says, I'm grounded, not grasping. That's the language of balance. That's the language of discipline. You can't fake it. The skin doesn't lie. A touch delivered with anxiety feels anxious. A touch delivered with confidence feels secure. A touch delivered with arrogance feels intrusive. Touch reveals who's in control of their own energy and who's not. As Maya Angelou famously said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And how you make people feel begins at the point of contact. The lost art of conscious contact. Modern society has sterilized touch. We've become afraid of it, afraid of misinterpretation, afraid of discomfort, afraid of vulnerability. But that fear has created emotional isolation. We text instead of holding hands. We use emojis instead of embraces. We live in proximity but not connection. Touch is not a weakness. It's the oldest form of empathy. Research from the University of Miami's Touch Research Institute found that touch reduces stress hormones, strengthens immunity, and increases levels of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that builds trust and safety. When used consciously, touch becomes leadership. A calm pat on the back before a big challenge. A reassuring hand on a teammate's shoulder. A still handshake that anchors both people in presence. You don't need to say much. Your skin says enough. The spectrum of touch, confidence versus invasion. Let's talk about calibration, because this is where most people fail. Touch can heal or harm, connect or control, invite or invade. The difference is intention and sensitivity. A confident touch is deliberate, grounded, and brief. It says, I'm here. You safe. A gentle touch is empathic and non-demanding. It says, I see you. I care. An invasive touch ignores consent or awareness. It says, my need overrides yours. People can feel the difference instantly. Your nervous system picks up microsignals of tension, hesitation, or dominance. That's why mastering touch isn't about being bold. It's about being attuned. The more disciplined your internal state, the clearer your external communication. It's not about taking space. It's about holding presence. How to master the language of touch. Here's how to turn touch into a disciplined, intentional skill. Check your state before contact. Your touch always transmits your inner condition. If you're tense, people feel tension. Breathe. Ground. Then connect. Make touch proportional to trust. The depth of your relationship determines the depth of touch. A handshake for strangers. A pat for colleagues. A hug for allies. A handhold for loved ones. Lead with awareness, not assumption. Never impose touch. Invite it. True confidence respects boundaries. Stay brief and intentional. A purposeful touch should communicate presence, not possession. Too long, and it becomes control. Too little, and it becomes empty. Train sensitivity daily. Practice noticing how people react to your presence, physically and energetically. Calibration grows with observation. Touch mastery is emotional intelligence made physical. It's not about charm. It's about control. It's not about desire. It's about direction. It's not about getting attention. It's about giving stability. The mantra, every touch tells a story. I decide what mine says. Say it again, with conviction. Every touch tells a story. I decide what mine says. Because whether you realize it or not, you are always communicating. You're always writing a narrative through your presence. The question is, are you broadcasting noise or clarity? Are you touching to calm, to connect, to guide, or to compensate, to seek validation, to dominate? You decide. And that decision separates professionals from amateurs, leaders from followers, grounded souls from chaotic ones. It's not about charm. It's about discipline. The discipline to pause before you reach out. The discipline to make your energy clean before you make contact. The discipline to ensure that your touch aligns with your intent. Because once your touch is congruent, your influence expands. People trust what feels safe. They follow what feels grounded. They remember what feels true. Touch is leadership. Touch is more than a gesture. It's a mirror of your internal command. If your touch is chaotic, your leadership feels chaotic. If your touch is stable, your presence anchors others. Nelson Mandela understood this deeply. He was known for his steady handshake, firm, but never forceful. Present, but never overpowering. He communicated dignity without dominance. Power without threat. That's what mastery feels like. The ability to transmit calm through contact. You can use this same principle anywhere. In business, a handshake that matches pressure and holds eye contact builds instant credibility. In family, a brief reassuring touch dissolves fear faster than a lecture. In teamwork, a synchronized gesture, a high five, a shoulder tap, builds unity without words. Touch is the body's leadership language. Use it with awareness, and it commands respect. Use it carelessly, and it destroys trust. The final truth. Every touch is communication. Every contact is energy exchange. The question is, are you in control of that exchange? Touch can inspire. Touch can anchor. Touch can transform. But it can also manipulate, intimidate, and wound, if undisciplined. It's not about avoiding touch. It's about mastering it. Chapter 7. The Grounded Mind. Mindfulness through touch. Your mind races. Your thoughts spiral. You overthink, overplan, overanalyze. Sound familiar? That's the modern default. Most people live in their heads, trapped in loops of what if, what went wrong, and what's next. And the harder you try to control it with reasoning alone, the louder the chaos becomes. Here's the hard truth. You cannot calm a mind with thinking. You calm a mind with feeling. Your thoughts follow your body, not the other way around. And if you ignore your body, your mind will run wild. This is why mindfulness starts in the skin, not the brain. It's not about meditation apps or counting mantras. It's about using touch as an anchor. It's not about quieting noise. It's about reconnecting to presence. It's not about escaping your mind. It's about controlling it through your body. Why touch anchors the mind? Touch is immediate. It bypasses abstraction and enters the nervous system directly. The skin is your first interpreter of the world, your most ancient sensor, your direct line to the present moment. Psychologist John Kabat-Zinn, in Wherever You Go, There You Are, wrote, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Touch is the surfboard. You can't stop racing thoughts, but you can ride them through your body. When your thoughts spiral, your body tenses. Your shoulders rise. Your jaw tightens. Your fingers clench. You can't argue your way out of it. Your nervous system is already in feedback mode. But if you focus tactile attention, the sensation of fabric against skin, the air brushing your arms, the pressure of your feet against the floor, you reroute the feedback. You create a stable center. It's not magic. It's biology. The more precise your touch awareness, the faster your mind follows. 5 deep feeling breaths. Here's the technique that rewires your nervous system for presence. 5 deep feeling breaths. It's deceptively simple but profoundly effective. It anchors the mind by directing attention to 5 tactile sensations, 1 per breath. Step 1. Find a surface. Sit or stand. Feel the weight of your body against a chair, the floor, or the ground. Notice the connection. You're physically supported, whether you feel it or not. Step 2. Breath 1. Fabric. Take a slow inhale. Focus on the fabric touching your skin, your clothes, a chair, a blanket. Note texture, temperature, tension. Exhale, letting awareness settle in the sensation. Breath 2. Air. Inhale again. Feel the air against your face, hands, or arms. Temperature, movement, and pressure. Exhale, letting your nervous system acknowledge you are alive in this space. Breath 3. Pulse. Feel your heartbeat. Your pulse is subtle, rhythmic, and grounding. Follow it for a moment. Exhale, letting your mind match its tempo. Breath 4. Gravity. Feel the pull of gravity on your body. The floor beneath your feet. The chair beneath your sit bones. You are held. Exhale, acknowledging that you are supported by something larger than thought. Breath 5. Warmth. Feel the warmth of your skin or the sun. Internal heat, external heat, or the subtle warmth of your own touch. Exhale, letting presence saturate your awareness. 5 breaths. 5 sensations. 1 cycle. It's simple, but it hits at the root of overthinking. The mind has nowhere to run when your body is fully present. The science behind tactile mindfulness. Multiple studies confirm that tactile focus reduces stress. Researchers at Stanford University found that engaging multiple senses in mindfulness exercises, especially touch, lowers cortisol and stabilizes heart rate more effectively than visual or auditory focus alone. Touch is fast. It's immediate. Your brain processes somatosensory input in milliseconds, faster than language or thought. That's why simply noticing the pressure of your feet on the ground can calm anxiety before cognitive strategies even kick in. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, highlights this. You cannot resolve trauma with words alone. The body must be engaged. It's the same principle for everyday mental chaos. You cannot resolve racing thoughts with logic alone. Your body must be engaged. Touch is your gateway. Why this works? Most people treat mindfulness as a mental exercise, a test of concentration. That's a mistake. Mental discipline without physical anchoring is like trying to balance on one leg on a moving ship. Unstable, exhausting, ineffective. Touch grounds. Touch communicates safety to the nervous system. Touch brings you into the present. When you use the 5 deep feeling breaths, you are literally reprogramming your body's response to stress. The mind notices calm. The nervous system relaxes. Tension melts. Thoughts slow. Presence expands. It's not about eliminating thought. It's about directing it. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being fully aware of what's real now. It's not about stopping time. It's about anchoring yourself in the only moment you can control, the now. Repetition and reinforcement. This is where most people fail. They try it once, notice a little calm, and dismiss it as trivial. It's not trivial. It's discipline in action. 5 minutes a day. 5 sensations. 5 breaths. Repeat the mantra. I am here. I feel now. I live now. Every repetition strengthens the neural pathways that link touch to presence. Your body learns to anchor your mind automatically. Soon, tactile focus becomes instinctive. Remember, it's not about meditation apps. It's about connection. It's not about stillness alone. It's about grounding. It's not about avoiding thought. It's about directing it. Integrating touch mindfulness into daily life. You don't need special conditions. You can practice anytime, anywhere. Waiting in line. Feel your feet on the ground. Anchor your weight. Breathe, sitting at your desk. Place your hands on a textured surface. Feel it. Let the sensation stabilize your mind. Walking outside. Focus on the air brushing your skin, the pressure of shoes on earth, the sway of your arms. Breath with each tactile signal. The key is presence through sensation. Your thoughts will come. That's natural. But when your body is anchored, the mind cannot run unchecked. Even elite performers use this. NBA players, before free throws, focus on the feel of the ball, the weight in their hands, the tension in their legs. Musicians, before critical passages, feel the keys, strings, or instruments, grounding their mind in the tactile present. This is mastery in action. You can do the same. The core lesson. The mind is a wild horse. Without reins, it bolts. Touch is the rein. Your body is the anchor. Every tactile moment you pay attention to is a mini recalibration. Every sensation you feel is a command to the nervous system. Stability now. It's not about stopping thought. It's about controlling it. It's not about escaping life. It's about engaging life fully. It's not about fighting chaos. It's about anchoring presence amidst chaos. The discipline is simple, but rarely practiced. Connect your mind to your body. Touch anchors thought. Sensation leads to stability. The mantra. Repeat it daily until it becomes automatic. I am here. I feel now. I live now. It works because it aligns perception with reality. The body signals presence, and the mind follows. 5 sensations. 5 breaths. 1 anchor. It's the difference between reaction and mastery. It's the difference between chaos and calm. It's the difference between living passively and living intentionally. Chapter 8. Hands of Creation. The mind imagines. The hands realize. This is the core truth of creation. Ideas live in your hands long before they exist in the world. Innovation is not abstract. It is tactile. Sculptors feel the marble before they see the statue. Chefs taste, knead, and mold before they present a dish. Designers manipulate materials, textures, and prototypes before a concept becomes a product. Your hands are the laboratory of thought. They are the interface between imagination and reality. Why touch drives innovation? Most people assume creativity lives solely in the brain. That's a mistake. The body is intelligence in motion. Your hands collect data your mind cannot access visually. Neurologically, this is called haptic perception. Your skin, muscles, and joints send continuous feedback to the brain, information about texture, resistance, weight, and shape. These signals inform reasoning, problem-solving, and design decisions. Barbara Tversky, a cognitive scientist, notes in her book Mind in Motion, thinking is not only in the head, it is in the body, and the body shapes thinking. Every master creator knows this instinctively. Your hands teach your mind what the mind cannot yet conceptualize. The discipline of hands-on thinking. If you want to think deeply, stop staring at screens and start handling real materials. This is hands-on thinking, the discipline of using your hands as an active thinking tool. Here's how you do it. Select physical materials. Paper, clay, building blocks, tools, or everyday objects. Anything you can manipulate. Identify a problem or idea. It can be work-related, personal, or a conceptual challenge. Engage tactilely while brainstorming. Build, shape, fold, arrange. Let your hands explore possibilities while your mind explores solutions. Observe the feedback. How does the object respond to pressure, twist, or motion? How does this influence your next decision? Iterate and refine. Creativity is rarely a straight line. The more your hands explore, the clearer your solutions become. It's not about random play. It's about disciplined exploration. It's not about doing first and thinking later. It's about thinking through doing. It's not about mental rehearsal. It's about real, physical engagement with ideas. How masters use tactile intelligence. Take Michelangelo, who said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." He didn't visualize the final form in isolation. He felt it in the stone. Every chip, every curve, every micro-resistance informed the next action. Or consider Thomas Keller, the legendary chef. He often says that cooking is about feeling the food. The way dough stretches, the way a pan distributes heat, the way a knife engages flesh, all guide decisions that cannot be fully predicted by the mind. Even in engineering and design, tactile feedback is crucial. Prototypes exist because designers cannot fully anticipate how materials interact without touch. IDEO, the world-renowned design firm, bases its creative process on rapid prototyping, feedback, and hands-on iteration. Across fields, a consistent truth emerges. Your hands think before your brain fully understands. The mantra, "What I touch, I understand. What I shape, I master." Repeat this internally as you work. What I touch, I understand. What I shape, I master. Because the act of touching, manipulating, and adjusting forces comprehension. Your hands encode lessons your eyes cannot see, your ears cannot hear, and your mind cannot fully grasp. Every tactile interaction is a rehearsal in understanding. Every physical adjustment translates directly into mental clarity. Exercises to build hands-on creativity. If you want to develop tactile intelligence, you must practice deliberately. Here are structured exercises. Clay or modeling exercise. Take a lump of clay. Without planning, begin shaping something that represents your current challenge. Focus on texture, pressure, and form. Notice how ideas evolve as your hands work. Desk object brainstorm. Gather 5 unrelated items on your desk. Reconfigure, combine, or manipulate them while thinking about a problem. Often, insights emerge as your hands test different configurations. Cooking experiment. Cook without following a recipe precisely. Feel the consistency, weight, and texture of ingredients. Let tactile feedback guide timing, seasoning, and method building the prototyping. Construct a simple model or prototype related to your work. Focus on feel and function simultaneously. Let resistance and alignment guide your problem solving. Do this consistently. The hands are muscles, not just appendages. Their intelligence grows with disciplined engagement. The cognitive impact. Why does this work so effectively? Because tactile engagement bypasses linear thinking. It encourages parallel processing, integrating sensory data, motor feedback, and conceptual reasoning simultaneously. Research in cognitive science confirms this. Haptic feedback strengthens memory, accelerates problem solving, and enhances creativity. Susan Golden Meadow, in her studies of gesturing and thinking, shows that physically manipulating objects improves conceptual understanding. The hands literally teach the brain. They are living, dynamic instruments of cognition. It's not about forcing ideas. It's about creating conditions where ideas emerge naturally through touch. It's not about mental effort alone. It's about physical collaboration with your materials. It's not about passive observation. It's about active shaping, avoiding common mistakes. Many people resist hands-on approaches. They say, "I can think faster than my hands can move," or "I don't have the time." That's a mistake. Thinking without touch is abstract, fragile, and limited. Ideas remain theoretical until your hands interrogate them. Other errors. Focusing only on perfection instead of exploration. Touch is about discovery, not instant results, ignoring feedback. If the material resists, don't override it. Learn from it, limiting materials to the familiar. Novel textures and objects stretch your tactile imagination. Mastery is patience, repetition, and disciplined engagement. Real-world application. Imagine a product designer stuck on a new concept. Sketching alone produces theory. When they model, fold, bend, or simulate with materials, the solution reveals itself through resistance and touch. Or a chef experimenting with a new sauce. Watching ingredients on video won't teach them the correct viscosity. Only manipulating the ingredients by hand, whisk, or spatula reveals the perfect texture. Even in business strategy, physical models can clarify abstract systems. Flowcharts, post-its, and three-dimensional mock-ups allow you to feel the structure of a plan. Touch turns ambiguity into clarity. The core lesson. Your hands are not just tools. They are extensions of your mind. Creativity does not reside solely in the brain. It lives in the interaction between body, material, and environment. It's not about clever ideas alone. It's about disciplined tactile engagement. It's not about thinking faster. It's about feeling deeper. It's not about observation. It's about creation through touch. Every time you use your hands deliberately, you convert abstract ideas into concrete understanding. Every tactile experiment deepens mastery. Every small adjustment, every micro-movement teaches the brain something it could not have learned otherwise. Touch is your first instrument of innovation. Your hands are your laboratory, and your discipline is the key to unlocking both. Chapter 9. Patterns, Signals, and Intuition. Touch is not just sensation. It is information. Every vibration, shift, texture, and temperature change carries data your conscious mind often misses. This is where intuition lives, beneath words, beneath visuals, beneath thought. And tactile intelligence is the bridge to it. It's not about luck. It's about discipline. It's not about guessing. It's about feeling with precision. It's not about instinct alone. It's about training the nervous system to detect what others overlook. If you want to predict outcomes, detect problems, or sense subtleties in your environment, you must first listen with your hands and skin. The language of subtle signals. Consider the craftsman, the musician, or the surgeon. A mechanic feels a barely perceptible vibration in an engine and knows which part is failing. A violinist senses minute shifts in string tension and adjusts tone instantly. A surgeon feels tissue density through their fingertips and detects anomalies before imaging confirms it. These professionals rely more on touch than logic. Their nervous system translates minute sensory input into actionable insight. Neuroscientist David Eagleman, in Incognito, The Secret Lives of the Brain, writes, "The brain is a prediction engine. It is constantly using sensory input to model the world and anticipate outcomes. The more refined your tactile input, the more accurate your internal model becomes. Touch is the fastest, most direct way to feed your intuition. And intuition is not mystical. It is pattern recognition. It's your nervous system learning to read the subtle signals others ignore. Patterns are everywhere. The world is full of recurring tactile cues. The slight change in texture of a fabric signals wear. The temperature shift of metal indicates stress. The vibration of a surface reveals instability. Most people overlook these signals. They rely on eyes and ears, and their intuition remains underdeveloped. It's not about having sharper eyes. It's about training your hands to feel what the eyes cannot see. It's not about being naturally gifted. It's about cultivating discipline. It's not about abstract analysis. It's about recording tactile patterns and learning their meaning. Pattern mapping. Exercise. Here's how you develop tactile intuition systematically. Pattern mapping. Choose a focus area. This could be objects, materials, tools, or even people's responses in social interactions. Record tactile sensations. Use a notebook or voice memo to note the specific sensation. Vibration, resistance, heat, pressure, texture include context. Note emotional, environmental, or situational factors. Temperature, mood, movement, time of day, observe recurrence. Over time, patterns emerge. You start recognizing which tactile cues consistently signal certain outcomes. Internalize the feedback. As your nervous system remembers these patterns, your intuitive response improves. You will feel problems or opportunities before logic catches up. Do this daily. Even small interactions, like handling tools or objects, are data points. The brain thrives on repetition. Real-world applications. Mechanics and engineers. A mechanic doesn't need to open a machine fully to diagnose it. They feel for vibration, heat, or resistance shifts. This tactile intelligence allows them to anticipate failure before it becomes catastrophic. Musicians. Consider a piano tuner. They don't simply listen. They feel the subtle resistance of the keys, the vibrations of strings, the feedback through their fingertips. The brain interprets these signals as patterns, guiding precise adjustments. Medical professionals. Surgeons rely on haptic feedback to navigate tissue, detect anomalies, and make split-second decisions. A minute difference in tissue density can change the course of surgery. That skill is learned through disciplined tactile observation, not intuition alone. Your hands can be just as precise, even if your field is not mechanical or medical. Every domain has patterns. Every material, interaction, or situation carries data, if you know how to feel it. Developing tactile pattern recognition. Discipline is key. Subtle signals are easy to miss. Here's how to train for mastery. Slow down. Reduce haste. Speed masks tactile feedback. Your nervous system cannot map patterns in milliseconds if you're rushing. Amplify awareness. Close your eyes when possible. Let the skin do the talking. Feel changes in pressure, vibration, heat, and texture. Record observations. Don't trust memory alone. Write down what you feel and under what conditions. Over time, your brain internalizes these patterns automatically. Analyze connections. Reflect. Does this subtle vibration always precede a specific outcome? Does the temperature change indicate a shift in mood or material integrity? Repeat. Intuition is not instantaneous. It's neural habituation. You are training the system to recognize signals beneath conscious perception. It's not about being psychic. It's about disciplined observation and physical awareness. It's not about reacting faster. It's about feeling first, interpreting second. It's not about mental processing alone. It's about integrating body and brain. Common pitfalls. Overthinking sensations. Don't intellectualize every touch. Feel it. Label it minimally. Let patterns emerge naturally, ignoring repetition. One-time observation builds no intuition. Patterns emerge only through consistent practice, relying solely on vision. Eyes deceive. Tactile feedback is faster and more accurate for subtle changes. Discipline is required. Pattern recognition is built, not stumbled upon. The mantra, I feel the signals beneath the surface. Repeat this internally during practice and daily life. I feel the signals beneath the surface. Because that is precisely what tactile intuition is. Detecting what lies beneath immediate perception. Every subtle vibration, shift, and change is a signal. Your job is to notice it, interpret it, and act on it. The difference between reactive and proactive individuals often lies here. Those who feel the signals beneath the surface act first. Those who rely on logic alone always react second. It's not about sensory overload. It's about selective sensitivity. It's not about noticing everything. It's about noticing what matters. It's not about passive awareness. It's about active, disciplined engagement with your environment. Integrating tactile intuition into daily life. Even if you're not a surgeon or musician, you can train this skill. In meetings, feel the subtle tension in a handshake or touch on a shoulder. Note how it reflects confidence, uncertainty, or deceit. In work materials. Notice how tools, instruments, or objects respond to touch. Patterns in resistance, weight, or texture can reveal efficiency or flaw. In personal awareness. Track subtle sensations in your own body. Muscle tension, heart rate, or posture shifts are signals of stress, focus, or readiness. The more you map these signals, the more your intuition develops. You begin to sense outcomes before they appear. The core lesson. Touch is not merely physical. It is predictive. It is not about casual sensation. It is about disciplined pattern detection. It is not about guessing. It is about feeling beneath the surface to anticipate, understand, and respond. Every vibration, texture, and heat shift is data. Every tactile input carries insight waiting to be decoded. Every practice session, every pattern mapping exercise, strengthens your internal predictive model. Chapter 10. Live Awake. Touch as a daily discipline. Most people move through life half asleep. Their senses dulled, their attention fragmented, their hands doing things while their minds drift elsewhere. They scroll, they swipe, they stare. They miss life in the most basic, fundamental way, through touch. It's not about luxury. It's not about indulgence. It's about discipline. It's not about doing less. It's about experiencing more through every action. It's not about mindfulness apps or rituals. It's about awakening your hands and, through them, your mind. Because touch is not a single sense. Touch is the gateway to full presence. The moment you bring tactile awareness into daily life, you transform ordinary activity into a conscious practice. You stop moving through life on autopilot and start living awake. Why daily tactile practice matters. Every action you perform carries a world of information your mind often ignores. The texture of your clothes, the firmness of a chair, the weight of a coffee mug, the air brushing your skin, all of it is data. All of it can be a grounding anchor or a source of distraction. Psychologist Bessel van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, emphasizes that trauma, stress, and anxiety are often stored in the body, not the mind. Your nervous system remembers. You cannot fully process life if you neglect your senses. Daily tactile awareness is a way to reset the nervous system. It teaches your body and mind to pay attention. It reduces stress, strengthens presence, and restores your connection with reality. It's not about sensory pleasure alone. It's about reclaiming agency over your perception. It's not about being constantly entertained. It's about being intensely aware. It's not about escape. It's about integration, mind, body, and environment aligned. The principle: touch everything with awareness. This is simple in theory, but rare in practice. Begin with routine actions. Every touch is an opportunity to train presence. Cooking. Feel the textures of ingredients, the resistance of dough, the firmness of a vegetable. Note temperature changes, moisture, and weight. Cooking becomes a tactile laboratory, not a mechanical chore. Working. Touch your tools deliberately. Feel the keyboard, the paper, the pen, the device. Notice the pressure you apply, the vibration of devices, the weight of objects. Work with precision and attention. Walking. Ground yourself in each step. Feel the floor or earth beneath your feet. Notice the subtle shifts in balance, texture, and pressure. Walking is not movement. It is active sensing, resting. Even rest can be tactile discipline. Feel your clothes against your skin, the tension of muscles, the weight of your body on a bed or chair. Observe without judgment. It's not about pausing for mindfulness alone. It's about infusing all activity with awareness. Each moment becomes a chance to exercise your tactile intelligence. Exercise. Awake hands. This daily exercise ensures your sense of touch remains sharp, integrated, and alive. Choose a task. It could be preparing breakfast, washing dishes, or folding clothes. Slow down. Reduce speed deliberately. Rush disables tactile perception, engage fully. With eyes open or closed, feel every surface, edge, and texture. Note temperature, resistance, vibration, or motion. Observe emotional response. Notice tension, calm, pleasure, or irritation. The body and mind respond to touch simultaneously. Repeat mantra. Silently or aloud, affirm. I awaken my hands. I live fully. I feel everything. Do this with multiple tasks every day. Slowly, your nervous system becomes primed for heightened perception, and presence becomes habitual. The effect of daily tactile discipline. Tactile awareness transforms not only perception but behavior. Studies in psychology show that engaging multiple senses amplifies cognitive clarity and emotional regulation. When you practice mindful touch consistently, stress reduces. The body signals stability to the nervous system. Muscle tension decreases. Heart rate stabilizes. Cortisol levels drop, presence deepens. Attention no longer drifts. You notice subtleties others overlook. The warmth of a cup, the texture of paper, the weight of a tool. Connection restores. Touch reconnects you to your environment. Life becomes tangible rather than abstract. It's not about instant relaxation. It's about sustained mastery over perception. Even Jon Kabat-Zinn writes in Full Catastrophe Living, mindfulness is not just sitting. It is being fully awake to what is happening in each moment, in every action. Tactile awareness is mindfulness in motion, applied to everyday life, without exception. Advanced integration, feeling life itself. The ultimate discipline is subtle, feeling life itself through your senses. Not just the obvious sensations, but the undercurrents. The slight vibration of a table as people move around you, the shift in air pressure as doors open and close, the temperature change in your hands as you touch different surfaces, the micro-resistance in objects as you manipulate them. Every object, every interaction, every breath carries data. The goal is to train your hands until they decode it all. This is not fanciful. It is deliberate, systematic practice. Practice for 5 minutes with eyes closed, feeling a cup of water. Note warmth, weight, and texture. During a walk, feel the subtle changes in ground texture, shifting weight in your feet, and the pull of gravity. While typing, notice the key's resistance, texture, and spacing. Repeat the mantra internally. I awaken my hands. I live fully. I feel everything. Over weeks, the nervous system learns heightened sensitivity. Life becomes more vivid. Presence becomes habitual. Awareness becomes second nature. Common mistakes. Multitasking. Doing while distracted disables touch awareness. Slow down and dedicate full attention. Ignoring the small, subtle textures, micro-resistances, and temperature shifts are the training grounds of tactile mastery. Skipping repetition. Like any skill, tactile intelligence improves with disciplined practice. One-time awareness is temporary. Consistent practice builds lasting mastery. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Why this chapter matters. All previous chapters, micro-touches, nature, communication, grounding, creation, and pattern recognition, culminate here. Touch is now a daily discipline, integrated into your routine. It is the practical application of everything you've learned. Without daily practice, all previous insights remain theoretical. With it, tactile mastery becomes a lifestyle. The mantra, daily integration. Say it, think it, live it. I awaken my hands. I live fully. I feel everything. This mantra reminds you, touch is knowledge. Touch is presence. Touch is life. Every mundane act becomes a conscious decision. The challenge is simple but demanding. Train your sense of touch until you can feel life itself. Every object carries information. Every interaction communicates subtleties. Every breath vibrates with sensation. The fully awake individual does not need reminders. The body and hands naturally notice, interpret, and integrate sensory information. This is mastery of presence, grounded in tactile intelligence. Touch is not optional. It is essential. Touch is not passive. It is active. Touch is not trivial. It is transformative. If you integrate tactile awareness into every action, cooking, working, walking, resting, you reclaim life itself. You stop moving half alive through the world and start living awake.